Guys. Oh, my hair. My hair. I was hoping we would get some of the rain from that hurricane when it split and then it was coming both ways. And I guess it got together again and it's shooting off and we might get a little rain from it. I have started working on the resin stuff. I got so far 3 of the grinders done. Today I'll get the other 2 and start working on the trays. And I've gotten some stuff from Sandy in. I've gotten the cards in from Arietta. They look beautiful. They actually look absolutely beautiful. Snuggy's sending in some putty. Nick's almost has the trays ready. Debbie got with me and is sending something. So yeah, finally got to get in to see my therapist, and he was like, "Whoa, because I hadn't seen him for a month," and he was like, "Oh, you have had a bad month." So I unloaded on him. Went over to my daughter's, took her some stuff. Hi, Sandy. Got the package. Yes, yes. I think for the trays, I'm going to use a lot of those glitters and incorporate those into the trays. And I might use those rude, and just like with my extra, because you always have a little extra resin left when you're working with resin, and just throw the extra resin in those and make some things with those. And so, yeah, that'd be cool. I might not. Well, let me see if I can get rid of the dogs popping in and out. My dogs are outside, so I'm gonna snooze their alerts. Um, just because I don't want to hear them going boing, 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 because they pop in and out. Um, so yeah, I just happened to see my thing pop up a few minutes ago and say you have live, and so the wheels for the lives will be on Wednesday during my lives. So during the month of October, I'll definitely do my Wednesday lives. And like on Sunday, every Sunday I'll put up like the week 1 post, post your pictures. So actually the right after the Wednesday, like after like this, like right after I do the live, how do I put this? Like the first, I'll do, when the first happens, I'll do that alive that day for that start. Because I've got that, yeah, open your mouth, Cindy. I have that October 1st start photo here. So people are putting their post in there right now for that. And so I'll do that one there. And then I'll go ahead and do the week 1 post. I'll throw it in there. But I won't do the live for the week 1 post until after you've had a full week. So I'll put the date that I'll draw it on. It'll be like there'll be a whole week that you'll have. And so it'll be like a whole week. It won't be like that Wednesday. It'll be like that a whole week. Like you'll have not from like the first first of October, and then that following Wednesday, which is like what, 3 days? No, it'll be the following Wednesday. And I don't even know what that date is. So I don't even know what the following Wednesday would be. That's what, October 3rd. So it won't be that date. It'll be the following date, which will be week 1 live. So it'll be like October, what, 10th, something like that. It'll be at when I'll draw for the first week, because it'll give you a full week to get all your photos in there is when I'll draw it. And I'll put the date of when it'll be posted. I'll put week 1 live, week 1 post, Give you, and I'll draw it on the date of after a week and do it that way all the way through. And then what I'll do is I'll do the 4 weeks, and then the grand prize will be drawn. Like I'll do the 4 weeks, and then the grand prize will kind of be a separate drawing, like after the 4, like a separate drawing after it. So there'll be 4 weekly posts, and then just a separate draw, just all on its own. So there'll be 4 weeks, and then just a separate draw. So there's actually like the week 1 or the start photo, and then the 4 weeks of drawings, and then a separate last week. So actually there's 6 winnings, like start photo, 4 weeks, and then the grand prize. So, and then occasional, here's something extra throw in, here's something extra throw in, just some of those. Because some things I have duplicates of, and, stuff like that. So it's just randoms. So kind of, throw in things like, hey, I got this. Are you interested? Hey, I got this. Are you interested? No. Oh, now I got something at the front. I don't want to have front things going off. Oh, I stayed up and watched that crazy debate last night, and I was like, what? What? I was like, oh, crazy. That was crazy last night. And then I went to bed. The weather has changed so much. Are you one of them human barometers to, like, when the weather changes so dramatically that it hurts? That it physically hurts? And my shoulder was hurting so bad. It was hurting so bad that it felt like someone had gone in there with a saw and went after my joint. Literally, it did. That I actually still have pain pills from when I had my surgery. That's how I just cut them in half. I don't take them to get rid of the pain. I just make it to where the pain is manageable. And so I literally took like a half a pain pill to where I could manage the pain, and I went to bed. Literally. And I mean, it hurt so bad. And I was like, I cannot deal no more. And I went to bed. I mean, I couldn't lift it. I couldn't move it. It just hurt so bad. And so I was like, I'm going to bed. And I thought, I'll just take half a pain pill. Maybe when I wake up, I'll be able to move my arm, tolerate my arm. And I woke up this morning and I was like, a little stiff, and I did some stretches, and now I can move it. And it's like, hey, I can deal. I can deal. It was like, oh my God, it was bad. And it's just because the barometric pressure has changed so dramatically that it was like, oh my God, it's on like Donkey Kong. I mean, I knew it was changing because I felt it in my head. I'm like you, I get it in my head, but it got into my joints. It was like, oh my God, it is changing. The weather change is here. And I was like, oh my God. And because Jim had come over while I was gone at the doctor's, and he mowed my yard. And I went over and, I knocked on his little shed door and opened. He's like laying in his bed, like, well, and I'm like, oh, you too? And he's like, yeah, And I was like, could you put the lawnmower in the shed? Because, they're talking possible, rain from this hurricane. He's like, yeah, when I get to where I can move. I said, yeah, supposedly, it's this weather. It's like, I can hardly move my arm. And he's like, I can hardly move anything. And I'm like, yeah, it's the weather change. It's got me bad. And he says, yeah, I can hardly move. He said, when I can move, I'll come over and, put it away. I mowed your yard. He said, just in case you notice anything. And I washed the lawnmower, but I left it out so it could dry. And I was like, thanks for mowing the yard. And he's like, yeah, no problem. It's like, well, thank you very much. He was like, yeah, thank you. I was just knocking all the big stuff down for, pretty much for the last one of the year, pretty much. I was like, thank you. Well appreciated. Hi, Karina. I was just like, oh my goodness. And Karina, I watched a video on the right there, right, the little things right up against the border wall, and oh my lord, on your side, right up against the border wall, I'd be terrified. I'd be terrified. I knew we had talked about, some of the stuff going on there on your side, but oh my lord. Oh my freaking stinking lord. I now have a much better understanding of what you talk about, what you were talking about. I was like, oh Lord. Oh Lord. But yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh. I was like almost carrying my arm. It hurt so bad. So the weather is like here. Definitely here. But yeah, y'all, the ones who win each prize will get one of the cards. They're gorgeous. I'm going to keep one of the cards, get a nice little frame. And then, oh, let me go get, because I got it, the one I finished. Let me go over and get it because I got it dry mounted, and so I can show y'all. Let me go get it. That way I can show y'all because I just got it back yesterday from. And there's a little guy there, and he's like, I really like that one. Some of them I take in, and he's like, oh, that one's really sparkly. And then some are like, oh, that one's not so sparkly. And I mean, there's people where they actually know what I'm bringing in, and they're like, ooh, that one's really cool. They go, you're doing so fast. And since I'm going to be bringing them home in my car, they got where they put them in these plastic bags. Because I don't want them to get messed up in my car. They're getting them out of these plastic bags. I don't know how to get them in there. Easy. Okay. And I've gotten where I leave the trim on them because I could either paint it black, which makes it look like I have. There we go. There. Because I leave the trim on it and paint it either black, or we actually take and make wood strips and paint the wood strips black, and then you can tack them on, and it looks like a three-dimensional frame around it. It's so hard because I'm behind the picture. Here we go. There we go. There. But getting it out of the frame actually bent the foam. Or getting it out of that stupid stinking plastic. Oh my goodness. There. Oh. Now I'm back. That was fun. Trying to get that out of the plastic. There. Getting them out of the plastic is really fun. There, because my hair keeps sticking up. But yeah. But that was that. And it's so small. It's much smaller than the rest of them for some reason. And I think the biggest one was that Dragon Dancers. I think that one cost me $30 to dry mount. And then most of them cost like $14 to dry mount. That's not bad. And then that one I'll probably just paint black around it because of where I'm putting it. I'll do a couple coats of black around it. But that one's kind of cute. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. But I just got it back from Hobby Lobby. I just go in there and I pick up a couple of wax melts because they have them on sale for like 50% off, and they had frames for 50% off. I got a 30 by 30 frame for like $7.50, which isn't bad. And I was in there waiting because I have a paint one I did the other day in like 4 hours, and so I'll put it in a frame. Oh, my head. I got a little bit of a headache, and it's from the weather change. I know it is. So it's like, oh, cool. Well, like I said, I've almost got your things, and I'm trying to find my E6000 because I put real pretty stickers on the top of them. And like the very edges of the stickers, you can see where they lift up. So I'm going to kind of take the E6000 and just kind of go along the edges to where it kind of blends it in. And I had to grind down along the edges. So I'm going to kind of go over it with alcohol to get any dust off, and then just go with the E6000 to blend it down and kind of blend it in where you don't see the word, ground it off. So hopefully everyone likes them, but that way if you have stuck drills, it'll be something that'll help you. And then I'll have trays like this in there, the trays that are like this. And I'm going to put some a little bit of glitter in them. And then I have one sticker that I'm putting on it. So made some of those, and those will be in the gift boxes. And then the stuff I got from Temu that's really cute, and those will be in it, and some little gifts and little things like that. So yeah. Yeah, I can say it's not now. I know you said you lived in a little bit better area, but yeah, you're right. It's no great, especially in those little because what they were showing was like those little uh camp things, like right up in there, and like you don't go in those camp things. And I was like, holy camole. I was like, whoa. And hopefully you don't go in those camp areas. And I was like, holy crap. Those would terrify me. I was like, shit. I was like, Lord. Because you were talking about how there was areas like you don't go near. Go. I was like, wow. That are like right up there by the bridge. And I was like, wow. It gives you a very real understanding. I was like, because it's one thing when we were talking and you try to understand, but unless you see it, you really don't understand. And this was seeing it. And yeah, and I was like, wow. Yeah, because I was like, And this was a couple of Navy SEALs that were trying to give perspectives on it. And they actually wouldn't go in there without bodyguards, because they was trying to go in and like talk to a couple of people that were in there to get their perspectives, and they wouldn't go in without bodyguards. And then they brought a couple people out and then talked to them like outside of the area, but they just, it was like, because they were that leery of it. And I was like, wow. And I was like, for you dudes to be scared of going in there to actually take bodyguards in there with you is like, yeah, that's kind of scary. But it gave you a new perspective on, how bad it is in that area. So much respect, Karina. Much respect. Taz or Tommy, stop. Yuck. Yuck. No. It's like, you. My poor grandson yesterday, he went to the dentist, right? He's one of those that has a really small mouth, really tiny mouth, really tiny. He's like my daughter. My daughter is one of those with a really tiny mouth and ended up having to have teeth pulled and ended up with one of those palate spreader things where you had to go in there and had a little key and you had to turn it every so many days and she had to wear it for like a year, and you had to turn it like every other day to kind of whiten her palate so she had enough room for her teeth. And he's still too young to have one of those, so they had to pull some teeth. And so she said she took him to the dentist and they didn't tell her anything about this until after they did his x-rays. And they were like, ooh, we can have to pull some teeth. And then because his teeth had been so crunched up, he had a lot of really bad cavities. And so he ended up having cavities everywhere. So they had to do like 8 fillings. And then they had to do those silver caps on all the filling areas. And so he ended up having 8 fillings and 8 silver caps placed all on the same day. So they did IV sedation. And she said, those videos you see where the kids have, massive dental work done and then they're coming home and they're all like spaced out. And she goes, hey, Mom, he's over there. And he's just like, hey, no, no, hey, no. I mean, she goes, oh my God, if I wasn't driving, I'd be taking videos. And all I could hear is him over there going, hey, no, no. I was like, oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. I was like, oh my Lord. She goes, my mom, it's hilarious. All this, he's just like space cadet. I was like, it sounds like he's space cadet. She goes, oh yeah, he is just like space cadet. And then she had him when he got home take pictures. And by the time he got home, his teeth were already starting to move to close in those gaps from where they pulled the teeth. Because that's how crammed his teeth were. They were already moving to close in those spaces. So that's when you know your teeth are like, whoa, like mega whoa. And yeah, I guess my brother doesn't go back to work from his heart attack till Monday. And I noticed he was gone yesterday. When he got back, he comes in, he's carrying 10 cans of wasp spray. He is on a wasp brigade. He has gone through, in the last week and a half, he's gone through like 12 cans of wasp spray. He has been out there spraying every wasp he could find, every wasp nest he could find. So their property is all de-wasped. So now I get up this morning and when I first wake up, I throw all the dogs out and I go lay back down. And so then when I get up, and the big boy, he don't get out of bed till I get out of bed. And so when I got up, I went to go put him out and the other ones came in and I go look, when I get to throw him out, I look out. My brother is out in his pajama pants and shirt in my backyard out there with 2 cans of wasp spray, spraying wasp nest out of like what's left of playground equipment in my backyard and up in trees, spraying wasp nest out of stuff in my backyard. And I'm like, cool. That's good because I'm allergic to wasps. So he's out there de-wasping my backyard. And I'm like, that is good. Go for it. Because I was standing over there when I went to ask Jim to put the lawnmower away, and a red wasp landed on my shoulder, and he knows I'm allergic to him, and he was like, hold still. And he takes his hat off and swipes it off my shoulder and then starts stomping it dead. And I was like, oh, thank you. Because otherwise we'd have to run over to the house and get my EpiPen and you'd have to stab me because I'm not really good about stabbing myself. And he just kind of smirks and is like, yeah, no problem. It's like, yeah. It was like, yeah, I'm not good about stabbing myself. I said, I got all the stabbers, but you'd have to stab me. And he was like, yeah, no problem. It's just like, he was kind of like, yeah, no problem. I can do that. Yeah, I understand. I do. I mean, that was a rough day. That was a very rough day. God, that was a horrible day. I mean, a very horrible day. I mean, that was, and in living in this country, we never thought it could happen on our soil again, other than Pearl Harbor. That was the only other time it ever happened here, ever. And then with what's been going on, we're opening ourselves up to it. In fact, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, they stopped another attack on the New York border. I mean, really, up on the Canadian New York border, they caught an Iranian on the border and stopped him because he was coming across to activate a sleeper cell that was in the U.S. I mean, he confessed to it, and he was coming across to activate a sleeper cell. I mean, he confessed to it. So it was something they were going to do in New York again that they had slated to do on today. So, I mean, we almost had another one because I bet no one pays attention to the news. No one pays attention to news. No one really does the deep dives because everyone likes to play ostrich. And I watch a lot of different outlets. I don't watch main media because main media, they're told exactly what to say and how to say it and who to push and who to support. And that's not what I watch. And that's how I found out. And it was like, whoa. And then I watched a couple other places and they said the same thing. So I don't just watch one, I watch several. And all two or three other places were like, yeah, this occurred. This guy was stopped. He confessed. And I was like, holy shit. So wow. That's all I'll say on it, but it's like it's we got to be prepared. We got to be diligent. And that's one thing about it. I never watch our US main media sites at all. At all. A lot of times I'll watch Australian news. Australian news is excellent because they'll rat out stuff that's going on in America in a New York minute. Because news from other countries will tell the truth on USA because they're not being told what to publish. Whereas the US news, especially certain media, especially certain channels, are being told what to publish. I mean, certain channels are being told exactly what to publish. I have a cat that, like, around three o'clock, about 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning, starts yowling and howling at my bedroom door to get in the bedroom. And it's like, For real? And she'll do it for about an hour. And it's like, I am not getting up, because if I get up, it's going to wake all these dogs up and get them all riled up just to let you in the door. It's like, not happening. Go away. And I think if the US news wasn't biased one way, I would watch it, but it's all biased one way. So it's like, yeah, no. So I'll watch um, Australia news, some UK news. I'll watch Polish news, um, Dutch news, German news, but because it's not, they're not really told what they can publish and what they can't. They kind of publish what they want. They're told what they can publish for them, but they're not told what they can publish for us, if that makes any sense. And so for us over here, when they're publishing stuff that affects us, we get the real deal, instead of, you know, it's how to explain that. It's not all one-sided. You get the real thing. And I started noticing that. Like when COVID came out, I would watch their news versus our news, because our news was all COVID vaccine positive, whereas over there it was like, this is what we're finding. Maybe the COVID vaccine ain't all that positive. This is what we're finding from it. So take it at your own risk, and la 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 la. So I started like, maybe I need to watch some other sources, and maybe I need to, yeah, it's like, it's like over in the UK there was debates on it, and I mean really like hard debates on it. It was like, whoa, we're not getting any of this. Um, there was doctors that were like, we're finding this and we're finding that, and we weren't getting any of that. So I started watching that instead of what we were getting over here. It was like, we're being lied to. We're being lied through their teeth, you know? I got more truth on that subject from the doctor I worked with than I did through the media. For real. What we were being told on the media, my doctor told me, he said, they're bald-faced lying to us. It would not happen that way. It does not happen that way. It happens this way. And my doctor said that was made in a lab. This is my doctor I worked with. He said, that was made in a lab. It does not happen that way. It does not jump that way. It doesn't happen that way. And this is the man I worked with. And he was a very brilliant man. He was like, doesn't happen. He said, I don't care what they're saying. So I was like, just like with AIDS. With AIDS, how they always kept saying it was from a monkey, man screwing a monkey or some shit like that. He said, no, 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 no. He said that was made during the Nazi POW camps from them experimenting on people. He said that's what that was from. He said it was during that time. He said that's how AIDS came about. He said it is not from what they said it's from. He said this is all government cover up. He says it's not what they're saying. So, it's, he said it, I mean, this is from a brilliant doctor. I mean, that man was brilliant. He was an a-hole, but he was brilliant. So, and I've come to learn most brilliant people are a-holes. So, And so I'm here to tell you, um, this is my only thing, my only political thing. Don't vote because you don't like someone because they're orange. Don't vote because you don't like the person. Don't vote for what you've heard or what you've heard the media tell you, because the media is telling you what they were told to tell you. Go do some real research. I mean, and not just on some channel. Go do some real research. Real research. I mean, like go dig. Go really dig. Deep dig. And look it up yourself. Go find the real facts. Like real facts. Like, did this really occur? Not just what someone said or someone else said or what you've heard or what you think you heard, but go really find out. Because it may be your grandkid's life, it may be your life. You know, don't vote because someone doesn't smile. Don't vote because someone really smiles good. Or she might be a good friend, because that person, she might be a good friend or look giggly happy, you know, or be smiley. But they gotta go be who goes and meets someone on our world stage. And is that who you want to go be on the world stage and back us up? You know, that's what you're voting for. I mean, that's going to be who's going to go meet people on the world stage and represent us. You know, do I like Trump as a man? No. Did I like his orange hair? No. You know, did I like his economy? Yes. Oh, the animal thing? Oh, that pissed me off. Whenever that dude said that didn't happen. The mayor said that didn't happen. Well, if I was mayor, I wouldn't want people thinking that either. But it did happen, and there's many videos about that happening. And you know, yeah, them people, they come over there and that's what they eat over in their home country. And yeah, they're stealing people's cats and eating them. And so, yeah, that happens. And it's happening in that town. And they actually had people saying, yeah, I caught someone eating my cat. You know, so yeah, that happens. But I'm talking about, you know, she brings them over and she dumps them in your town, and then she's over there talking about, and I'm extending, you know, their this, and she's all happy about it, and she's, you know, all for it, but she's not protecting the people she's put them in there with. You know, it's like, what is she going to do for us? It's like, I'm just worried about us too. I mean, it's you got to help the people you're putting them in with too. I mean, it's kind of scary. I mean, it's just really scary because the trust factor, you know, you can't vote on just because of the way they look, or if, you know, she's pretty and joyful and she makes you feel good. It's like, vote for what they can do for you. That's all I'm saying. That's my last political pitch. Don't vote for if you like them, if they make you smile, or if they make you happy. Vote for what you think. I know my pocketbook has really been hit. I went to the grocery store and I bought milk, a couple packets of cheese, a pizza. Um, what else? My vitamin B12 pills, and I think that was it. And it was like $30, $40. So it wasn't very much, and it was a crap load of money. So, and it didn't used to be that way. And I don't even buy the big milk, I buy the little milk. So it was like, holy crud. And I go to the cheap store. I mean, I go to the dollar store. So it's like, holy crap. I mean, it's like, I used to not to, but might not be in the politics, but whenever they're all coming across your border, and like if the Venezuelans quit coming in, you might want to be in the politics because they're coming in, and let me see, where is it? Colorado so far, New York, and there's one other state now they're in. They're actually busting in people's doors and making them pay them to live there. So you can pay your landlord, then you got to pay them to live in your house. And they're not nice people. So it's like, holy shit. And you might have a gun, but they have bigger guns. So I know my son's never voted, but he's like, Mom, this year I'm voting. He's like, because I need to protect my family. He says, because it's getting crazy and it's getting real. He said, because where I used to work, he said it used to be regular people that came in to pick up cars. And he said, in the last year, I ain't seen a regular person yet that has picked up a car. He said they've been Russian, they've been Hispanic, they've been nationalities. I'm not sure what they were because I didn't know what language they were speaking. So, yeah. He said, and some of them were not very nice and kind of scary. And he said some of them wouldn't listen to what I was saying because I have my rules I have to abide by, and they would get kind of threatening, and I would just put their car right on the ground and back my forklift up and just go get my boss and go back inside and lock the gate. Oh yeah, I saw that video where that woman was chowing down on that woman's pet cat right in her driveway. I was just like, holy crap, that was gross. And I'm sorry, but if you're eating my pet cat in my driveway, you might not be still there when the cop gets there because that's my pet and that's my family. And so if you're eating my family in front of me, you might not still be here breathing. And I'm sorry, that's just the way I am. I will protect my family, even if it's my pet. My pet is my family. And if you're going to be eating my family in front of me, I'm ex military and I will protect my family. And so, and I got a feeling that town's going to come down to that. They're going to get fed up and they might come down to that because pets are your family. Anyone who's got pets, pets are your family. And you go to eating people's pets, you're eating their family. When I told Jim, my friend who's ex military, about them eating their cat, he said, oh, no, 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 no. He said, you eat my cat. And I'm sitting there watching, I come out and you're eating my cat. He said, you ain't going to be here no more. He said, that's my family. You eat my family? He said, that's like you eating my son or daughter. Ain't happening. He said, in this country, you'll go away longer for killing an animal than you will for killing a person. He said, so you sit there and kill my family. Not happening. And that's a true fact. You kill an animal, torture an animal, do something to an animal. In this country, for some reason, you'll go way longer for that than you will for doing something to a person. And I don't know if that's because they can't defend themselves and come back at you, and a person can, but man, you do something to an animal, you can go away for a longer time than hurting that kid, unless it's a kid. And the people that are defending that, I just don't know what's wrong with them. And they're just like all about, oh, well, that's normal in their country. Well, then go back to that country, because in this country, that's not normal to go around eating people's dogs and cats and ducks, and, because that's not normal. I don't know about you, but I don't go over to my dad's house and eat his dog. And if I went over and touched my brother's dog, I'd be dead in the yard. I'm his sister. And I'm serious. I go over and touch my brother's dog and hurt it, I'd be dead in the yard. And I'm serious as a heart attack. So, because you don't do nothing to that boy's dog. Mm-mm. It might not, it'd be like someone coming in and doing something to your cats. They're your pets. They're your family. We got to start standing up for ourselves. I mean, we're Americans. We got to start standing up for ourselves. Maybe I'm just too patriotic. I come from a time when we were patriotic and we stood up for ourselves. I mean, that's why I went in the military, because we stood up for ourselves. I didn't go through basic training just to be a wimp. I went into basic training because, we stood up for ourselves. My daughter went in my daughter went in the Air Force. My son, whenever 9/11 happened, first thing he went down, he tried to get in, but he wasn't able to pass the ASVAB. He was like, I'm going in. He was like, that ain't happening in my country. It's like we were all patriotic, and for some reason our country has just gone like, stomp on us. But we need to get back to being like, ain't happening. It's like, I don't know what's happened, but we need to get, back at it and be patriotic and care for our country and love our country and, want to protect our country and stand up for it. And it's like, because we don't want it to happen again. I mean, I don't know about anyone else, but you don't want that to happen to your grandkids or your kids, or, it's like, no, you don't want it. I mean, my kids are all grown. My kids are 42, 40 and 42 and 45 is what their ages are. So, but I sure don't want that to happen for my grandkids, or anyone else's grandkids or kids. I mean, I've seen crazy things. My girlfriend called me last night, the one that's like the on and off girlfriend, and she was just beside herself because her son got wrote up because he was racist. He's 9 years old. He's 9 freaking years old. 9 years old. Okay. And in his religion, you don't date, you don't get in relationships out of their race. And his teacher in school was trying to make him say he would date someone out of his race. He's 9 years old. And so a little colored girl said, oh, I really like so and so. I have a crush on him. And he said, so and so, do you have a crush on her? And he said, no, I really think she's pretty. I really think she's nice. But no, because she's not the same color as me. And that teacher wrote him up, wrote a report on him, and called him out in class, wrote him up, and wrote a report and said, I'm sending this to the office. You're going to be on report because you're racist. This kid's 9 years old. Said that out loud to the class. You're racist. This kid's beside himself, goes home and says, Mom, am I in trouble? Am I bad? My teacher said I'm racist. And she's like, what? And he said, because, and she goes, why? What'd you say? What'd you do? And he said, well, it was crush day. And he's like, what? She's like, what? And so said she liked me and had a crush on me, and she's colored, And I said that she was very nice and very pretty, but I didn't have, I didn't have a crush on her because she was not the same color as me. And so I was told I was racist and I was being written up and it was being sent to the teacher and put in my school file. Am I in trouble? To me, that is making a kid racist. It's making him feel bad. It's making, it's calling him out to other students as being a racist. That is causing a problem. That is a child that's the way he's raised. We don't date outside our race. That's the way he's being raised. It's in their religion. Okay? So, why is this teacher doing this in the school? If that's the way you're taught, that's the way your religion is we just don't date outside our race. That's a religious thing in their religion. Why is this teacher doing this? It's wrong. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. But if that's what's being taught in their religion, and he's being nice. I mean, he didn't say, I'm not going to do it because you're this or you're that. I'm just because, we're not the same color. That teacher's being bad to do that in the first place. I mean, that's wrong because you're making this child into something. If I had been that mother, first she went down to the principal and said, I don't agree with this. This was wrong. This teacher shouldn't have done this. This is making my child into something that he's not. This is a religious thing in our family, and I was like, for one, it made him think that he was bad. It was something bad, and that he was something. He didn't even think of it as being racist, and he wasn't saying bad things. It was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, it was like, holy. I mean, I've lost people watching, but it was like, holy crap, that's bad. What is being taught in schools nowadays? Okay, we'll get off that subject because people done dumped. But it was like, that was so wrong. Why would a teacher do that to a child? I mean, why would you do that to a kid? That was so mean to do that to a kid. This kid went home thinking that he had done something horrible, and so the mom went to the principal. The principal is like, no, I'm going to bring that teacher in here. This is not going in his file. That was totally inappropriate to do. It was like, that was wrong to do. This will be taken care of. That won't be done again. But it's like, why are we doing this to our kids in school? Because that's causing an issue. Yeah, I mean, but that's causing an issue in school because it was like he wasn't being mean. He said she was a nice person and that she was very pretty. It's just that, I was like, what in the heck? What in the bloomin' blazes? If that's their religion and that's the way they're taught, it's just, that's him. That's the way he is. That's what he's being taught. That's his prerogative. Don't make it an issue. He's 9 years old, for God's sake. It's like, holy crap. I mean, Lord bless it. I was just like, say what? She was just beside herself. She was like, what? What? He was like, he's in there crying because he thinks he was a bad today at school. And he did a bad thing. And I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I got one that's dying from cancer that's crying and asking me if I'll be her advocate and can she put me as her person because she doesn't want people changing her DNR when she makes it. And I'll be the person that she puts on her stuff. And I was like, yes, 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 I'll be your person. And I'll be the person that talks to your doctors because I'll stand up for you and I won't let them do things to you that you do not want. You let me know what you want and I'll be that person. So I'm just like, because I know how it is. You want certain things and you don't want people changing it. I'll be that person. You tell me what you want and I won't let them do things to you. You tell me what you want and that'll be it. And I told her, I said, what they did with him, I'd be in there tap dancing on their desk too. I was like, that was totally inappropriate. And I'd be letting him know. And I said, if he doesn't tell him, if he doesn't stop, he'll have a lawsuit on his head, because that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it was like, oh my God. Because that's totally inappropriate. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like, what have schools come to? What have schools come to? I mean, if you end up liking someone of an opposite color, opposite sex, that's on you. That's how you feel. And that's what I told her. I said that, if he falls in love with someone that's another color, then he does, or not the same sex, then he does. And then you have to learn to deal. I said, but that's when that happens. But that's not for a teacher to go around forcing it. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. And he or she should not go around and belittle him because he doesn't. And when he says he doesn't, then it shouldn't be like you're bad because you don't. I was like, that's wrong. It's like, God. Okay, back to diamond painting. Back to diamond painting. Oh my God. I was just like, so my mind's just getting exploded with what's going on in the world and what's going on at schools. Thank God I don't have kids in schools because, yeah. Now, if you tell them your kids are getting bullied, they're all okay for it. They won't stop it. They won't stop it. You can tell them when my daughter was getting bullied, and I went to teachers about it. They didn't stop it. I went to the parents about it. They wouldn't stop it. They said, well, tell her to defend herself. Literally, that's what I was told. And the kid was 10. My daughter was 5.5. Literally. Kid that was beating her up all the time at the bus stop was 10. My daughter was 5.5. And dad wouldn't stop it. Dad wouldn't stop it. Well, tell her to defend herself. So I finally told her, I said, you pick up whatever you can pick up and just knock the shit out of that kid. So I told her. She's 5.5. And my daughter was pure tomboy. Pure tomboy. She had those little banana ringlet curls, and she was pure tomboy. I mean, she got a kid just like her too. I mean, just like it. In fact, both of her boys, you take both of her boys and then like split her down to half. And one boy has half of her personality and the other boy has the other half. I mean, literally, you take her personality, split it in half. One has half, one the other. So I was like, you just got take both of your boys and put them together, and that's what you were like. She's like, I know. But literally, that kid would just terrorize her, beat her. We actually took videos of it. So we had videos of it, what was going on. And so, I mean, we finally sent it to that guy's first shirt. I mean, everything. Because where we lived, we could video what was going on at the bus stop. And so we sent it to his first shirt. He got in trouble through his first shirt, but nothing. And so finally one day, my daughter found the 2x4, kind of a short 2x4. And she hauled off and smacked that kid upside his back with that 2x4, knocked the shit out of him. That kid that his dad come to the front door, your daughter hit my son with a 2x4. And I said, she's 5.5, he's 10. She equalized. Tell him to leave her alone, she'll quit equalizing. After that kid never touched her again. I mean, it was literally, that's how he got where he quit bullying her. I said, tell him to leave her alone and quit bullying her, and she'll quit equalizing. You told her to take care of herself, take up for herself. She did. And that's how we got the bully to leave her alone. Well, she finally picked up a 2x4 and just whopped the snot out of him. Because I just told her, I said, pick up whatever you can and just knock the snot out of him. And she did. And Dad, your daughter hit my son with blah, 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 blah. And I said, she's 5.5 and it's about half his size. So she equalized. And he kind of looked at her and realized how much tinier she is because I brought her to the door. He looked at his son that was double her size and outweighed her by about double. And I said, she equalized the playing field. He kind of was like, hmm. And he kind of grabbed his son and turned around and walked off, and we never had another problem out of the little kids. So it was like, I told her, I said, now you don't hit him unless he's bothering you. But I said, he bothers you. You equalize. Take care of your business. It was like, and after that, the other kids realized, wow, you hit her. She's going to take care of business. So no one bothered her no more. But it was like, because she was tiny, she was tiny. But it was like, and I was got where I was like, fine, you find whatever you have. Just take care of business. And she took care of business. And it worked. But that's not coming because it was none of this stuff. If everybody drives their kids to school, we just had a bus stop and it just happened to be in front of where we lived. And all the kids from everywhere, it's like, you had like 50 kids. Everyone that was on that bus was like right in front of our freaking house. I remember that. Oh, I feel for my daughter. She's got one that turns 13 on Friday. So her 13th birthday is on Friday the 13th. Yes. Is that not going to be a fun night for them? And they're doing like Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice 2 and having a sleepover on that night. So that's going to be a fun night for them. And it's her 13th birthday. So I was like, yeah, that's going to be fun. Oh, fun. Her teenth. Starting her teens. It's on like Donkey Kong. Woo! And so her one's turning 13. And then she's got one has just pretty much turned 8 and one that's just pretty much turned 7. So, she'll have that one in 5 more years that'll get out of high school. And then behind that, she'll have 2 that'll be 1 year apart coming out of high school. And I'm like, ooh, you are going to have so much fun. And then she didn't start having her kids till late in life because she knew how fun she was. She goes, Mom, I just remembered how fun I was, how bad I was. And so I didn't have kids till really late because I just knew what a handful and how bad I was. And I was like, yeah. And just think of what age you're going to be having to deal with all that. She was like, hey, yeah, fun. And so I was like, yeah. And I don't know if anyone's noticed all the stuff coming out on Facebook about the thyroid disease and some of the cancers from the water on base from the fire foam. And so I put in for it because I have the thyroid issues and I was always on the Flatlines fire foam. And unfortunately, I was diagnosed back in 2002. So that would have been 22 years ago. And they told me they're only taking cases that are within the last 20 years. And so they told me they couldn't do me, but if I wanted to get a private attorney, I could do it that way. So I was like, okay, thank you, but no. And so I sent the link to my daughter, and so she's got even worse thyroid issues than I do because her levels keep getting worse. So she applied for it. And she didn't get diagnosed till, Aiden's 8. So 8 years ago. And they told her, and I mean, they go by the bases you've been at. And she actually had more bases than I did. And they told her that every base she has been at is linked to the cases. And so they told her that she had a case and that she has an active claim number now. So I told her, I said, good, maybe you can get something out of it. Since she's up to like way more synthroid than I am because, hers just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I was like, maybe you can get something out of it. Of course, she was like working on the Flatline for way more years than I was. So, because more of my years were as a spouse, and hers were, you know, actively working out there on the bombers where they're actually throwing the foam. So, yeah. So, that's good for her. And I'm wondering when I thought I had that sinus infection if I actually had COVID because, man, I was sick for like a week and a half and I never got any antibiotics. So I'm actually wondering if I had COVID. Because that was kind of freaking nasty. Felt like crappy. Crappy, 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 crappy. Yeah. Well, I've been on here for an hour. Like I said, I've got the trays I still got to do. I got 2 more grinders to do. They're coming out really pretty. I got to start cutting up boxes to get boxes ready to go. And that way I'll have boxes that'll work. And I'll see you all later. And sorry for the politickies, but really, do some research. Don't just vote because you don't like orange hair or what you've seen or heard word of mouth because everything's crazy. Yes, diamond paint away. What I'm working on right now has so stinking much. I'm just doing a lot of that end. That end. So much that end. Can't even think what that end's called right now. Oh, my brain's not working. Need more coffee. All right. I love y'all. Bye-bye. Oh, my hair. You can tell when my hair is bothering me because I play with it. Love y'all. Bye-bye.